The latest in rally news from here and around the world. R2G Rally Radio.
Hey, welcome again to R2G Rally Radio. We're here for our latest update again on what's happening at the Daybreaker Rally. I'll chuck it over to you, Lani. Good morning.
Good morning, Booker. Yes, what an interesting morning we've had. The weather has certainly played a part, I think, in the events of this morning. It is still quite foggy out on the stages at the moment, but the rain seems to have eased off slightly, although I don't want to curse it too much. It is reported that there is still quite a lot of standing water on stage 5, which is currently underway. Ridge North, it's a 10.18 kilometre stage, and we've had about 4 cars through so far, so they'll shortly be arriving in the service park in 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆. In that stage, of course, it's no surprises that Hayden Paddon has so far topped the stage times there with a time of 8:22.9. When the stage was in a slightly different configuration, the previous winning time from 2014 was Richard Mason with a time of 8:59.8, which just goes to show how fast Hayden is at the moment. Coming in second thus far at the stage time with a time of 9.03 is Ben Hunt and his 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆𝗍. Certainly Ben is having a ripper of a morning, and I think that's testament to the tight, twisty technical stages that the 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆𝗍 is well suited to. Coming in third is 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 with a time of 9.09.4. So she is only 6 seconds down on Ben Hunt. And that's certainly shaping up to be an incredible battle between the two there for the overall honours as well. Fourth is Brendan Reeves with a time of 9:13.3. So he is 3.9 seconds down on Emma in that stage, but he has lost a significant amount of time this morning with some sort of issue. I'm not sure what has happened there, but it would be good for us to find that out in the service park. Speaking of service park, we do have Lance Hasty live in the service park at the moment. Lance, what are the conditions like there at the service park?
Well, good morning, Lani. And just as you said that, I'm thinking I'm going to have to turn the microphone upside down to drain the water off. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. It's obviously quite different down here in Palmerston North at the moment. Is there a lot of standing water around? Because that seems to be what's coming out of the stages.
Well, the first sigh of relief is you can hear me given the amount of water that's sitting on top of the microphone sock. It is proper raining here in 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆. It's 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆 weather. It's fabulous weather if you're a duck. It is raining proper. As far as standing water, well, there's a rather large puddle next to me. And next to that's another rather large puddle. So that might give you some idea that it hasn't just suddenly started here, that the further north you go, the damper the conditions get. And we're expecting Hayden Paddon to arrive to the service control any second now, perhaps even less than a minute. And we'll get his take on those morning stages. Okay, there's a reaction. So, Lani, what have you got to fill us in on?
What I've got to fill you in on is that 𝗥𝗡𝗆𝗆𝗆 Jones has just posted a time of 9:03.3. So he's actually pipped Ben Hunt for second in that stage by 0.1 of a second.
Wow. No, it's interesting. The Daybreaker was turned into the real heartbreaker. There is such a division between the front and those that are chasing and following along behind. You can hear a car in the background. The time differences and the tales of woe. Obviously, a championship has gone wide open. It's got to be Ben Hunt to actually just conserve for the finish now. But 𝗥𝗡𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆, well, we always knew he was going to step up and be a rising star, and it certainly is shaping up to be that way as Hayden is about to clock into the time control.
Fantastic, Lance. It's also meant that 𝗥𝗡𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 has pipped Emma for current third place after stage 5 by only 1 second. So that battle for third will certainly heat up during the day.
Well, it will, and there's still a long way to go. You consider that the time of the day here now, we're obviously been on the road for a fair few hours, but there's still a lot of stages left to run, and it will be interesting to get Hayden's take on this. The NZRC crew are having a quick chat, and you had a question for Brendan Reeves. He's just coming to the pre-stop sign, so we will ask him what is going on there, and also what a strategy might be, given that the championship has changed significantly with Robbie Stokes. Now, everyone's been asking what has happened. We honestly don't know at the moment. Robbie did say it was a repeat of a past issue, and that was an electrical issue that hampered him at the 𝗥𝗱𝗏𝗆𝗏 Rally. And so what happens from there? Well, it was just no words from both him and his brother. And it's also a case of what could have been. It's that heartbreaker, Daybreaker. So we'll actually wander into the service park and have a chat, have a casual chat with some of these guys. Any more times through, Lani?
Yes, there are a couple more times through. We've also had Hayden McKenzie post a time. He's finished the stage in 6th with a time of 9:20.0. So he is only 6.7 seconds down in that stage on Brendan Reeves. And Brendan did get a time penalty, Lance, to clarify. So that's what his time has been adjusted for. So it'll be interesting to see if there was an issue there for him.
Okay.
We've also had Stuart Reid finish the stage with a time of 9:24 as well. So he's currently in 7th for that stage.
Okay, that's interesting. Does it show, can you see there, Lani, whereabouts that penalty came from? Which time control?
I will be able to. I know it was a 10-second penalty, so he has clocked in late somewhere. I need to find out where that is. Robbie Stokes has just finished the stage as well, Lance. He is down quite a way, currently in 8th with a time of 9:34.
Okay, still competitive, still posting a competitive time.
Yes.
Okay.
Looks like 𝗥𝗱𝗏𝗆𝗟𝗏 is about to start the stage with a 3-minute gap. And we know how much 𝗥𝗱𝗏𝗆𝗏 loves these roads.
Well, that's where the heartbreaker comment comes from. We do, although I have never seen him ever so dejected as he was this morning after stage 3. Heartbroken was probably an understatement. It was a case of mortality has caught up with him, and it was the same with Bruce Herbert, the two titans of the Daybreaker back in the day, struggling, really struggling. So we're just heading over to the Haddon camp at the moment, and we'll get in amongst the thick of them and see if we can get some clarity on what really is going on.
So Brendan checked in late to the start of special stage 3.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There are a few late penalties throughout the rally, throughout the whole field. So I think that's just a testament to the challenge that the crews have had this morning in this foggy, wet, dark weather. Fortunately, day has now broken, so the teams will have a significantly easier time to see those tight, twisty technical stages. I know Hayden talked about how difficult it was in the dark with those technical roads, Lance.
Yes, he did actually, and that was a very interesting comment to hear from Hayden. As much as he had been very much looking forward to the night, he was finding that it was more of a challenge than he really bargained on. So that was some surprising words. Okay, we're over at the Haddon camp here now. There's Hayden. We'll see if we can grab a quick word. Hayden?
Yeah, sure.
Look, nice. It's going pretty well. It's going pretty well, you got to say.
Yeah, it's going really well. Car's feeling good. Obviously, we did the long stage at full speed, the whole stage, so we're the only ones that do that. So that's good, though. It means we get to have more fun. But yeah, the car's feeling good. Conditions are good. Obviously, our road position's probably the place to be at the moment. So just got to keep doing and enjoying it.
So have you got a strategy that evolves during the day, or is it just hammer down from the go?
Having fun is what I'm doing. So I don't want to just cruise around because we're here to enjoy it. That's why we all do the sport. So I'm going to keep going out, having fun, sliding around. It's going to be really tricky, the 2 repeat stages, because when you get these conditions on repeat stage, it will be like ice for everybody. So, enjoy these next 2, and then we're going to have to be pretty prepared for the 2 after.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. And there's Brendan Reeves. He and Hayden are having a bit of a conference right at the moment, as you could imagine. So while we wait for that to conclude, what are the latest updates, Lani?
Latest updates is we've now had 10 cars through that stage, special stage 5, Ridge North. I can also report that despite 𝗥𝗱𝗍𝗆𝗆𝗆's incredible time through that stage, where he's currently second fastest, he actually stalled at the hairpin briefly. So he would have been onto a real cracker of a stage without that slight delay. We've also had reports that Robbie Stokes had a brief hazard at 4Ks into that stage. So maybe he's still competitive, but obviously whatever gremlin is within his car today is still kind of making itself known. So it'll be interesting to see what Robbie reports when he gets to the service part. But a quick recap of the overall classification thus far into the rally. 5 stages in, we have Hayden Paddon in first place. In second place, 1 minute 48 down on Hayden, is Ben Hunt in his 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆𝗍𝗏. In third is the young 𝗥𝗡𝗟𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 end. But this is where the competition really heats up, with 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆𝗆 in 4th place, just 1 second down on Zell Jones, and rounding out the top 5 overall is Brendan Reeves. He is 2 minutes 40 down on Hayden, but only 22 seconds down on Emma for 4th place. And surprisingly, in 6th place is Andrew Graves in his Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 3, currently 6th overall, only 19 seconds down on Brendan Reeves. Given that he was not concerned, but he was, a little bit more apprehensive about these tight technical stages in his, what he called antique Mitsubishi. So it's good to see him up there fighting in those competitive numbers, Lance.
Yes, absolutely. And he is very much a dark horse. If he said he was going to take it easy and see how he goes, I wasn't going to listen to a word of that. We knew that what he is capable of, he's proved that all season. And Emma has just arrived into service. It looks like Brendan is freeing up about now. We'll just see if we can go and interrupt what he's up to. He's having a chug on some Powerade.
Yeah. Real loose and slippery.
Brendan, obviously it's been a tough start, but you didn't come here to take it easy.
No, it's really tough, especially the conditions just being so wet now. The second on the road's probably a good position to be, but it just feels like we're getting no traction. So not having driven the car before, just got to keep working on a bit of setup, get some advice from Hayden, and just slowly build up the speed over the day.
And as far as the next batch of stages, have you got a plan on how you're going to attack the repeat loop?
I think there'll be a bit of clay, so we'll have to be a little bit careful. I was locking the front brakes a little bit in the wet conditions, but I think just build the speed because the confidence isn't quite there. So I just want to try and keep it on the road and be smooth.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Let's see how that plays out. We'll now move across, and I'm expecting that'll be Mr. Stuart Reid coming in. We'll cross over here to Emma. See if we can distract Emma. You're running away out of the rain. Yeah, that's right. You stay there. It's drier there. Hey, okay. Into the camper van, the 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆𝗆𝗆 camper van, the 𝗥𝗆𝗔 camper van. I see it's been part of the entourage following you around. Emma, so far you must be very happy with the times and position you're in.
To be honest, I haven't looked at anything, so I don't know. But just really enjoying it. The car was awesome in the dark. And and that last stage we didn't do the long one. We just toured through that. But that last one was pretty tricky. It was pretty slippery. But yeah, the car, the changes we've made, it's just, it's getting good grip and I'm getting good confidence in it. Malcolm's doing a great job. So yeah, it's good fun.
And have you got a bit of a plan of what's coming next, particularly that repeat loop?
I think, I just think we'll keep doing what we're doing. That's all we can do really. It's pretty tricky out there with the conditions and the road. So yeah, and I mean, it's the first time I've driven the car really in stages like that. So yeah, just getting the hang of it.
But it must also be too that bit of vindication. You got this car for a reason. And having fun was part of that reason. I think you've ticked that box.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Ollie and the team, they do a great job running it. So big smile. Even in the dark, it's like, wow, this car is freaking cool.
Excellent. Thank you, Emma. Thank you. We'll check in later on, make sure that's still the case. So there you go, Lani. That's the update there. And I'll let you give us an update while we line up the next batch of drivers. Zell Jones is going to be one of those. He's going to have a very interesting explanation.
Yes, I'm particularly interested to hear how he felt he's gone this morning, because certainly his times are reflective of a really strong performance this morning. We've had a few more cars finish stage 5. So we'll start from 10th position. So we've had Robbie Stokes in 10th with a time of 9:34.1. So he is 1 minute and 11 seconds down on Hayden's super fast time there. We also have Caleb McDonald in 11th in his Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6. We have Tim Smith in 12th in his Subaru Magnum H6 with the slightly odd steering wheel. And I believe there is a story there that we might cover off later today as well. And in 13th, we've got Jay Pittons with a time of 9:43.7. So all going well so far in stage 5. We've also just had James McDonald complete the stage in his Subaru Impreza H6 as well. Sounds like the hairpin in that stage 5 is causing some tricky moments for a lot of the drivers, Lance. So you might want to talk to a few of the drivers around that. Appears they're struggling with that, and from what I've heard, it's quite a tight hairpin and one that's quite difficult to navigate. So it'll be interesting to see how they have gone.
Yes, absolutely. It's shown to be the case in the past, and we're just here with Ben Hunt at the moment. Ben, it seems to be a habit. Every time I come to speak to you, you're putting food in your mouth. You really need to get a fueled up machine.
You can't run wide open on empty, mate.
Indeed. Well, look, a very interesting morning, but before we go into where you are in the rally, looking at the championship, the car this morning, you and the car, everything coming together?
Yeah, I didn't feel real good in the first stage. It was probably pretty hard not doing a test and then jumping into the night stage. But yeah, I think we're definitely felt a bit better in those last few. So pretty gutted that the long one got cancelled.
Yes, indeed. Rallying with the challenges that it brings. He's giving his service crew some instructions with his middle finger. As far as what's coming up next, how are you going to attack those next batch of stages? Or is it really just about focusing on the finish?
No, I think we want to, keep trucking on. I like driving the car, not just getting through, but obviously that is a goal. But we'll just keep doing what we're doing all morning and feels good in the car, and go from there.
Excellent. All right, let's just see how that plays out. Yes, Lani, that question about that hairpin, it is very tricky, absolutely, without a doubt. I can see a Robbie Stokes there.
Yeah, it sounds like Robbie has had quite a difficult morning this morning, having lost a significant amount of time.
Yes, he is. Robbie, like heartbreaker, daybreaker for the Stokes family. What happened out there in stage 3?
Just some troubles from previous rallies coming back, electrical-wise. So car keeps cutting out, and just whenever it feels like it's just random. Don't know what it is to fix it, but I think they've got a couple of things that they're going to try. But yeah, it might be just how it is today, and we'll just go for it and then stop, reset it, go for it again. Sort of like heaps of little rally sprints in one day.
Oh, look, the look on your brother's face and the lack of words, it really did speak volumes, and you echoed that when you came in. Really, with what you've got now, is it a case of actually seeing if you can find it by keeping the hammer down?
Oh, it's just random. It cuts out at full speed, it cuts out at cruising, so it just doesn't really matter what speed you're going, it's just going to cut out. So we just got to, I guess, judge that and, just do our best. But yeah, it's pretty hard out there in the rain. We had a go in there and the car was going really well and having a lot of fun, and then the car cut out. So it's sort of got to reset, and I did the second half of the stage with no anti-lag because there's so many buttons you got to press to get everything going, and you're in the heat of the moment, so you forget. And it's just how it is, but yeah.
Well, you're here, so let's just see what the next few stages bring.
It's a long rally, yeah. Anything can happen. I was ready to throw in the towel at the last service, but I got told I couldn't.
Yes, I was wondering that when you came into the end of stage 3. But anyway, see you at the next one, I'm sure. Yeah. Yes, well, that's a little bit of optimism from Robbie Stokes that there is something still left to achieve out here at the moment. And next on the list, I'll let you update us on some times, Lani. Well, I go and find that Zeal Jones, and we get his point of view and perspective on that hairpin.
Thanks, Lance. We've had a few more cars through, including the start of our two-wheel drive crew. Dylan Thompson has completed that stage with a time of 9:41.3. So he's actually only in that stage 4.5 seconds down on Tim Smith, which is quite an incredible feat given the Ford Fiesta and how that runs. So Dylan is currently sitting first in class in that two-wheel drive class in 12th position, which is fantastic for him. So he's nearly knocking on that top 10. Lance, have you managed to find Zeal yet?
Well, it became less of a challenge than I actually thought it was going to be. I just walked right past him. Zeal, you've been going very, very well this morning. Hairpin and Ridge Road. Give us a rundown on your perspective and how you went there.
Yeah, that was a little bit frustrating, to be honest. I came in, pulled the handbrake probably a couple meters too early, tapped the outside bank, and then it wouldn't allow me to rotate around the corner, and then I just understeered, pushed forward, and then, as everyone saw, I stalled. So that was a bit frustrating, but we got underway, and it looks like we set a good stage time there. But, a little bit of understeer I'm struggling with, but just got to work around it, and the car's working good, so just got to rinse and repeat and, keep doing the same.
So as far as the rally from here on, and you could say you've got the tricky part out of the way, maybe you've got some repeat stages in there, which is slightly different for this event. What's the plan moving forward?
Yeah, I really struggle with repeat stages. Unfortunately, I just can't quite get the confidence to go do the even more faster in the second pass. But we've done the next two stages before, so parts of them, and then 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆 we did last year. So I'm confident to have a good drive in there and do it again.
Excellent. Right, we'll see how that plays out. We'll check in. We'll hold you to your word. Thank you, Zeal. So at the moment, I don't have anyone lined up immediately next to Lani. There is plenty, and there's a man outstanding in his field, Mark Smith, waving his arms in the air. That'll be because he's directing his son, Tim, into service. And speaking of service, the grounds here, very much on the slippy side. The ground is turning to mud. While Tim's turning around, we'll actually pop over to Jeff Argyle because, as I mentioned before, that dejected look on his face was very extreme. The next one after that will be Brian Terry, because what he actually experienced was the polar opposite. He was another one of the Titans back in the day who came through the ranks alongside Argyle and Herbert, and he was having an absolute ball. So let's just see. There he is. There's the man. There's one of them. All right, discussing tyre changes. He's got new. Okay, he's issuing instructions. We'll get in the queue. Actually, here's someone we'll talk to. A New Zealand champion, Emma Argyle. We can probably guess the tie there. Emma, you're out servicing for Dad. This is not unusual. You did the same last year. Have you got any advice or instructions that he would give you that you can return serve on?
Just make sure he's well fed. As long as you got food, you can keep going, right?
Well, absolutely. But to be fair, when I saw him at the end of stage 3, I've not seen him that dejected before. So could be some family words that help him out of that state, perhaps. Maybe words he's used on you before, Jeff.
What was that?
Yeah, well, you see.
Right.
Yeah, correct. Take it easy, see how you go.
Yeah,
You're certainly looking a lot better than you were before at the end of stage 3. I've not seen you in that state before. How did those, wasn't so much next 2 stages go, because one got skipped. Ridge Road, you know that so well. Hairpin, talk us through what happened.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, no real hassles. We were a little bit slow on the way up, but we found the manifold gasket's gone on the turbo, so we haven't got a lot of bottom end. But once we got to the top and just used the momentum on the way down, so we were 6 through it or something, so it's all right.
That's it, and you're still here, unlike others with regards to times.
What happened to Stokes this morning?
Now I'm going to tell you the story while we're live on Rally Radio. That's all right. We'll repeat the story. It's an electrical issue. It's intermittent. Has no idea when it cuts out. It just cuts out.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yes, and then he has to do resets. But that's rallying for you, as you know only too well. you can tell a few stories of what it's like to be on the receiving end of that. Charge on, new tyres on the front, that's a bit exciting. New second-hand tyres.
Yeah, new second-hand. Don't go over the top.
Yeah, correct. Let's just clarify here. Yes, correct. And actually, here's a man we'll have a quick chat with. Yes, he's trying to run away. Mr. Teal, Bernard Teal. The stories you could tell of Mr. Argyle, but also alongside Bruce Herbert. Must be interesting to see these guys are still out here at it.
Yes, spent 4 years with Jeff, I think. Done a few internationals with him. Done 5 with Bruce. Had a lot of good times. Very good drivers. Tops in the man or two. Or probably in the day that we were doing it, I haven't hopped on a rally car for probably 20 years, but way back then, couldn't get better drivers.
And again, it must be great to see them out here doing what their first love.
Oh, yes, definitely. Good to see Jeff back out. He's a very talented driver. Give him a good car, and he'll be away. Nothing wrong with this car, but it's getting old.
Yes, indeed. It's seen a few obstacles in its way. And we will now give you a moment, Lani, to fill us in while we're going to have a chat to some others. We're going to have a chat to Tim Smith because his was a tale of two halves, and we'll get his perspective on that steering wheel.
Yes, I'm particularly keen to hear this the story about the steering wheel. But in the meantime, we'll have a quick look at some of the two-wheel drive overall results. So overall, leading Class 2, the two-wheel drives, is Dylan Thompson in his Ford Fiesta Rally 4. Following him, we have Bryn Jones in second for the two-wheel drive battle in his Ford Fiesta. Now, Bryn had a great stage there, by the look of it, with a time of 10 minutes flat in stage 5. Rounding out the top 3 in that two-wheel drive battle is Jack Stokes in his Ford Fiesta. So it'll be interesting to see how Jack feels now that he's made it to that service as well, Lance. So the two-wheel drive battle is certainly going to shape up over the course of the day as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear. Thank you for that perspective on that, because we often forget the battles within battles. But we're here with the Tim Smith car, the Team Subaru colours, and the very, very special light pods are being removed quite late in the day, boys. But I guess Tim just likes to show off his good bits, show off his good side. Tim, you're happy with progress so far?
Yeah, so far. Yeah, but we tried those in this morning. Wasn't confident on them, but now on their fairly good rallies. We're really good in that last one. It's a shame that the stage was cancelled. It was stage. It was, yeah, I did intimidate. Like when we were driving through it like that in the rally car, it's like, oh, this is bloody really entertaining. But yeah, it's all right. That's just how it is. So it was nice to go for a nice drive, and actually, I think it was actually a benefit to do that in me, from my experience, because like I didn't really know how the car felt. So actually needs to be done and go through the notes as well. So.
Now the idiots.
It sounds like we've got a bit of a technical issue happening, Lance. We are struggling to hear you and Tim. So I think there might be some sort of issue there with the microphone. It's cutting in and out. I wonder if there's something wrong
Could be
there
some
at your
water.
end.
Could be water.
Could be.
Has
Sounded
that
like
made
we
any
were stuck
difference?
in a tornado. That
Yeah.
has, yes. So we didn't catch a lot of what Tim was saying.
Oh, that's a shame. I tell you what, let's do it this way. What difference does that make?
Perfect.
Much of a difference? Okay, perfect. There we go. It's just full of water. Tim, just following on from what you're saying, the idiot's question is, the steering wheel you've got in that car, do you think it knows its way around these stages? Tell us the story about that steering wheel.
Yeah, it's a steering wheel, which is really cool. And luckily Richard gave it to me for a bit of a present. And yeah, I think it knows its way around it better than me.
Yes, that's something we'd like to ask more about later on, is that story, Lani. But I think we are suffering a technical issue here with water in the microphone sock.
Which just really sums up the day, I think, here at Daybreaker. The rain was very heavy overnight, so those stages will be quite wet. And it sounds like it's still quite heavy up in Taihape, but I am pleased to report that for now, the rain has eased off significantly and almost stopped here in Palmerston North. So I dare say that as the crews travel south to the next stage at Peepo Day, hopefully you don't have the same issues with water for the rest of the afternoon, Lance.
Yes, and let's hope that is the case. I'm just going to make some noise here while we put things back together. Okay, quick microphone check. How is that?
That sounds loud and clear, Lance. So I'm pleased you've managed to dry it off slightly.
Well,
but
nothing
it really
like
is
giving
indicative of the whole day.
It is. And rallying's all about the challenge at every level. And we have it here today. So we're just looking to see who it was that we could have a quick chat to next. You're talking about that two-wheel drive battle. Some of those guys are fabulous to talk to. And again, one of those I'd like to have a catch-up with is Brian Terry, who came into that finish of stage 3. Very excited on how his little car was going. But they are so spread out around the places, as typical of a service park, that catching up with people is often a case of ships in the night. And it could almost be literally in the case with the amount of standing water on the grass, which is not. It's gone a very dark, chocolatey, mud brown colour.
Yes, and I have a funny feeling, Brian, he is in the service. No, he has not yet started the stage, Lance, so he will be quite a way away from you there in service. But we'll do a quick recap of the time so far for stage 5. So I'll run through the top 20 here for you. In first place, we have Hayden Paddon with a time of 8:22.9. In second, we have Seal Jones. And third, we have Ben Hunt. And just a reminder, this is the stage results. And fourth, we have 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆𝗆. Fifth, we have Brendan Reeves. Sixth, we have local favourite 𝗥𝗚𝗍𝗆𝗆, although he has been suffering from some turbo issues this morning. We spoke to him before. And seventh, we have Southlander Andrew Graves, who's posting some incredible times given that his preference is those fast flowing stages known from Southland. In 8th, we have Hayden McKenzie. 9th, Stuart Reid. And in 10th, James McDonald. Setting the 11th fastest time of Special Stage 5 Ridge North was Robbie Stokes, who's also been having some electrical gremlins today, as he reported to us earlier. In 12th, we have Caleb McDonald. Actually, there is a dead even time here. Both Caleb and William have set the same time, so they're actually 12th equal, and Carl Robinson. So that's quite interesting, given that we've got 3 competitors with the same time. That is in 12th, that is Caleb McDonald, William Menzies, and Carl Robinson. Then in 15th, note that tied for the 12th fastest in 15th is Tim Smith in his Subaru Magnum H6. 16th is the first of the two-wheel drive crews, Dylan Thompson in his Ford Fiesta. In 17th, we have Jay Pittams. 18th, Gavin Feast. 19th, Nelson Law, one of the drivers from Vanuatu. It's fantastic to have actually quite a number of international drivers here racing at the Daybreaker Rally this weekend. And in 20th, rounding out the top 20 for Special Stage 5 Ridge North is Phil McQuarrie in his Subaru. Lance, have you got someone?
Yes, we have. We've got Bryn Jones here. So, Bryn, obviously your focus is on the two-wheel drive battle. You're maybe a little bit more familiar with the Daybreaker roads than some, but so far so good.
Yeah, so far so good. Everything seems to be going quite well. A bit slippery in those conditions sort of thing, but hey, look, yeah, it's just trying to manage that at the moment.
Now, what's different with the next group of stages is the repeat loop in there. Is there a plan of attack with that? What's ahead of you next? What are you thinking of?
We'll use the first passes just to check our notes and everything, and then we'll definitely give it a good send in the next loop because we need to get some power stage points.
All right, very interesting. Thank you, Bryn. We're going to hold you to that. So, of course, wedged in there is the power stage, special stage 9, and the championship guys have the points on the line, and we can see over here. Jack Stokes just getting out of the car. Lani, we got a room in your schedule to have a chat to Jack. There's a Brian Stokes. Jack, so you're still here? Everything's still going okay for you?
Yep. Struggled a wee bit this morning with trying to just lack a grip. First time up here, but no, it was good fun. And that last one was pretty fun as well. So, yeah.
Now that hairpins, it's tricky no matter which way you look at it. Do you think you've got it perfected?
Oh, nearly. I got the rotation right and I was lined up perfectly, and then the car just bogged on the exit, so didn't have to drive. But yeah, no, I got getting around it right. So yeah.
Excellent. All right, we'll check in later on and see how you get through that repeat loop. So everyone's got a little their own little take on how it's all playing out. And team boss Anne Stokes, she wouldn't claim to be the team boss, of course, taking a candid photo of the crew. Make our way over
and what
here.
I'm hearing from you, Lance, is that a lot of the drivers are having a lot of fun today. Now, that is just fantastic, isn't it? That a lot of them seem to be enjoying the roads and having fun.
Absolutely. And, a lot of them, what are they actually out here to achieve? And it's having that fun allows them to convey the message of their commercial partners, because a lot of them rely on sponsorship, while the other half is the back pocket or the credit card, the bank of mum and dad. In many instances as well, there are commercial arrangements too. So if they can convey that passion and drag the corporates along for the ride, then they're ticking the box of having fun. It's all about that challenge and adventure, and that is exactly what the Daybreaker has a reputation of. As I alluded to earlier, the heartbreak, particularly for the Stokes family, along with the Daybreak. It's changed. How could you ever script a championship like that?
Indeed. And, none of this would be possible, the fun or the heartbreak, actually, without our commercial partners. So thank you to Brian Green Properties, Harcourts, AFC Motorcycles, GearTech, and of course the Palmerston North City Council, Manawatu District Council, and 𝗥𝗚𝗍𝗄 District Council. Without their support, this event would not have been possible. So just a huge thank you to those commercial partners for their support in bringing this fantastic event to the Manawatu and 𝗥𝗚𝗍𝗄 District. And also, given that we've been talking a lot about the weather and the rain this morning, Lance, I also want to give a shout out to all of our volunteers and marshals out there who are probably soaked through to the bone, but are out there doing their part so that these drivers and co-drivers can have some fun on these fantastic roads.
Yes, absolutely. And you can never thank the volunteers enough for what they do. And as you pointed out, standing out in the middle of nowhere in weather like this is not everyone's cup of tea, but some just look for that challenge, that unique difference, arise to it, make more than a day, make memories. Okay, so we have issues with the microphone again. Head up because it's looking a little wet. So if you want to give me a moment, we'll deal with that, and then we'll line up some other drivers to have a chat with.
Thank you, Lance. It looks like we've had about half of the field, or just over half of the field, complete Stage 5 Ridge North. So we're about halfway through that stage, and of course we'll be bringing you updates throughout the day here on R2G Rally Radio. We'll have a quick look at some of the other times that have come through. So if we have a look at the stage times, we will start from position 20, which is where we finished off before. So 21st through that stage, Phil Macquarie and his Subaru Impreza for the time of 9:53.8. And 22nd, we have Bradley Stewart and his Subaru Impreza. 23rd, we have Pierre-Henry Brunet from Vanuatu and his Ford Fiesta Pro Show. And 24th, as we just spoke to him before, was Bryn Jones and his Ford Fiesta, and he seems to be having a lot of fun out there. And it was interesting hearing Bryn talk about the power stage, special stage 9, Macbeth, which will come later this afternoon. In 25th place, we have Tim Mackesy in his Ford Fiesta Rally. 26th, Julian Linglet from Vanuatu. 27th, Jack Stokes. 28th, Shane Merlin in his Ford Escort Mark II. Now, there is nothing better than hearing the sound of those BDA Escorts running through the rural back roads of New Zealand. So stoked to see Shane up there in 28th for that stage. The 29th was Ben Harding in his Mazda RX-7. And 30, we've talked about him a few times on the broadcast this morning, Bruce Herbert in his Mitsubishi Lancer with a time of 10:20.3. And 31st for the stage, special stage 5, Ridge North, is Brendan Cantwell in his Toyota Starlet. 30th, Andrew Spire. 33rd, Dan Coper in his Subaru Impreza. 34th is Cameron Ross in his Ford Fiesta Proto. Now, Cameron has recently made the switch from tarmac to gravel, so it's fantastic to see him out there in the stages having some fun on a different surface than what he's used to. And 35th is Amy Niley in her Subaru Magnum H6, followed by, in 36th, by Dave Strong in his Honda Jazz, another name that's been around for quite a while, Lance, in this space, with very experienced co-driver Rob Scott alongside him.
Yes, I tried to get a bit of a tail out of it earlier on, but he was having none of it. He was sticking to the script as far as he was there to do a job, get the car to the finish, and nothing else was going to matter. But we're just getting through the thinner end of the service park. And of course, there's more than just the top 3 cars in this event. And so a big part of what we're here to cover are the spread the message around. But we all know and we're being reminded some of the best stories come from a bit further down the field. So that's what we're trying to hunt out now. We're looking for who's got that the power out, who's doing the welding. Can't hear any grinders. So I actually got to say at the moment, no, I'm not going to say it because then I'll get pulled up later on for commentator's curse. In many ways, they're doing very well to get through the stages given the adverse conditions and actually get to this point of the rally. Even though it is 8:43 in the morning, they've been at it for more than 4 hours. So, and we're not even halfway. Hey, isn't that cool?
It is very cool, although I suspect that we might be running Tie Happy Drive caffeine this morning, given that basically there's already been half a day of rallying happen. And I have heard reports that there are some coffee shortages in Tie Happy this morning. So I'm not surprised at all, Lance, are you?
No, not at all. And that was very interesting doing the visit up here nearly 2 weeks ago, giving those cafes a heads up and just checking what time they started. And they were all ready. They were aware. So I'd be very surprised if there was some coffee shortages here this or today. They were all aware of what was coming, and I'm sure they would be stocking up accordingly. So yeah, we might have to do some cafe visiting and prove the theory. Coming into view is the RX-7 of Ben Harding. But yeah, it's one thing when they come into the service park. Are they going to go left? Are they going to go right? They're looking for their crew. Where are their crew? It's all fun. It's all fun. And would say that the actual weather here is easing. So I don't know if the weather is actually tracking north, but it certainly isn't as wet as it was when we arrived.
So we might be hopeful of a slight easing, but again, I don't want to put commentators' curse on that, Lance. But it's interesting to know that rally control here, the people making sure everything runs smoothly and safely, started this morning here at 2:30 a.m. While probably many of the crews were still sort of asleep. So rally control has been going for quite a long time, and no doubt they need some caffeine. But what an incredible volunteer workforce we have here, making sure this event runs smoothly.
Yes, absolutely, and they'll be probably grateful we put some Red Bull in the fridge last night. I'm sure it's gone by now. That was the 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗏7. Actually, it's not Argyle's Evo 7. It belongs to Bunnythorpe mechanic Andrew Lowe, who purchased it off Andrew Hawkswood. And Mr. Argyle has just taken possession of it, squatter's rights, if you will. And he's rebuilt the car and using it again for the Daybreaker. That was the car that Andrew put into the forestry gate post at Otago all those years back. And if you look carefully in the inside the car, in the upper left corner, you can see the stitch marks of where they grafted in a rear part of the car. And that was after Mr. Tapper. He's modified that car a couple of times, rather significantly. So it's a bit like Granddad's axe. It's had 3 new heads, 2 new handles, but still as good as the day you bought it.
Man, that car could tell some tales. I am absolutely sure of it. With all of those drivers behind the wheel, I'm sure it's seen and heard some pretty gnarly stories over the years.
Yes, absolutely. And having actually sat in that car a few times, it's a good car. Boy, does that thing actually hook up. I'm very, very impressed with its setup. There's just something special about that car. And we found that over the years when guys, when they were building the Mitsubishis, or even in the Subaru camp too, one chassis would be different to the next, even though it was all built identically, and you'd find one car that would just outperform the others. And in the Mitsubishi camp, that Evo 7 was one of them.
That's amazing. And I remember Rocky Hudson, who was co-driving for Andrew Hawkswood when he took out that post, that they didn't even realise that half the car had kind of peeled open. And it's great to see Rocky here this weekend supporting his 2 children, Amy and Jared, who are co-driving for Brendan Reeves and Hayden Patton respectively. So it's great to see the Hudsons here, and I'm sure Rocky has shared a few of those stories with his kids over the years.
Yes, absolutely. Well, they were there at the time, or seen the evidence of it, but that certainly was a frightful sight when Andrew came in. But yeah, you're right. Rocky was blissfully unaware as to the level of damage behind him. Everything seemed okay in the car, maybe a little breezy, but it was still handling just the same. That was cosmetically quite different. Just see 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 has arrived in. Now, he was another one that was a bit of a journey to get here this weekend, but he was so excited when he came into the end of stage 3 before, just absolutely fizzing. And that's what it's all about. You come out here for your fix, and it was all doom and gloom prior to, but those woes have all since washed away, regardless of the weather. They're out here living their best life, and that's Robbie Stokes leaving the service park now. They're obviously a little bit on the late side, but as I was walking past, there were some issues getting the car to start. Obviously it has now, and yeah, feel for them. They've got an intermittent fault that they've been chasing for so long. They thought they had it, clearly not, and that's a championship that they can see slipping out of their grasp.
Very unfortunate for them, but rallying is certainly kind of a survival race at times, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and we know anything can happen. We saw that last night at the super special stage. There were a number of cars that had best intentions to just get through there with a clean run, but one little error, and next thing you know, that's a significant time penalty disadvantage. So you'll never claw that back. Here's the
yes. Now,
I'll tell you what, the retro livery on these cars is just incredible. With Jay Pittam's car just leaving now in the 555, not only colours but full branding, is one example of the cars here this week who have really embraced bringing back the retro as a theme. It's there's another one, car 37, just stunning the way they've got that painted up. Lani, I'm just walking over to the other side of the service park to have a chat to 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆. So I'll probably be a couple of minutes before we get him lined up.
Thanks, Lance. It looks like car 60 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 and Kylie Cotton, the last seeded car, has entered special stage 5 Ridge North. So hopefully in the next couple of minutes, we can give you a full results update of all of the cars that have been through the stage. Just a quick recap, I suppose, of what has happened so far this morning. Robbie Stokes has had a few electrical gremlins that has meant that the car has been putting out throughout the course of the day. And he hasn't been able to identify that. Now, Lance has just reported that he's left the service slightly late, so hopefully they have found the issue and have been able to resolve it for this afternoon's loop. We've also had Jared Parker, one of the two-wheel drive competitors, had some issues with his gearbox or his gearbox casing, so he's lost a little bit of time this morning as well. There's been stage 4, unfortunately, at Pahanui had to be cancelled, so the cars toured through stage 4, but certainly the crews are reporting that the stages are a lot of fun, tight, twisty and technical, and obviously the first 2 stages this morning, special stage 2 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗟 and special stage 3 𝗥𝗚𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗏 were run in the dark, which, you know, we've had mixed reviews about that this morning, and I think for the most part drivers seem to enjoy it. A couple of other things to note. Zeel Jones has really kind of picked up the pace today and actually got second in special stage 5 Ridge North, only 40 seconds down on Hayden Paddon, and he currently sits in 3rd place. Ben Hunt, him and Zeel are going to have a little bit of a battle today, I think, but Ben Hunt currently sits in 2nd overall. So certainly the stages this morning seem well suited to the nimbleness of those 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗆𝗟 rally cars. Emma Gilmore is currently sitting in 4th overall and reported having a lot of fun, and that Citroen car that she's got seems to have really kind of gelled this morning. So it was great to hear Emma having a lot of fun this morning. Rounding out the top 5 overall is Brendan Reeves, our Australian visitor in the Hyundai i20. And he did get a 10-second penalty for clocking in late to a stage, but otherwise seems to be having a lot of fun. He did report that he was struggling with traction this morning, but he was going to talk to Hayden about what he can do to help with that, given that it is his first time in that car. So this afternoon we have several more stages. Right now the cars are heading out to special stage 6 Pipo Day, which is a 37-kilometre test. So that will be a challenge for the crews after the service in Taihape. Following that stage, they have a short run of the special stage 7 of 𝗥𝗱𝗏𝗏, a 7.8-kilometre test, before they head into their next regroup and service in Fielding. If you are local to us today, head down to Repco in Fielding to meet the drivers from about 10:30 a.m. And after that, they will be servicing at Manfield. So if you want to catch up with the drivers, certainly head down to Repco in Fielding from 10:30 or catch them at the service at Manfield Park from about 11 a.m. That probably will kind of gives us a bit of a recap of this morning. I think a few of the drivers are concerned about these next 2 stages for the double run. So after they've run Pipo Day and Macbeth this morning, they will return and repeat those stages. And a few of them are a little bit concerned about what those conditions might turn out to be. A lot of them are suspecting that they're going to be tricky. So that kind of wraps up what's happened so far this morning. Lance?
Well, that's a great question I'm going to put to the godfather of rallying in New Zealand, Mr. Maury Chandler. The question, good morning. The question is, with the weather is how it is at the moment, how it's affecting drivers and the way they take these stages, what would be your advice when it comes to the challenges they're up against in the changeable conditions?
Well, I haven't thought about it really. I guess it's a case of prejudging the corners, isn't it? They've got to read what's there. Not easy.
And that's probably the bigger point, is it's not easy, and so often you can overthink these things. If you were in their shoes, how would you be approaching this?
Oh, it's a few years since I've done that. But I think you'd be trying to read the roads and drive it. That's what it's all about. That's the name of the game, isn't it?
It is, absolutely, and I guess that's going back to the way of attacking the likes of a Daybreaker. It's not so much attacking, it's just looking at what's in front of you, because the finish line is the objective.
Absolutely it is. It's part of the challenge.
And you're obviously here keeping an eye on granddaughter Amy Keeley.
I'm holding the umbrella
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And again, great to see Amy out here. Well, it's a full family. Dad's out here too, and you're just keeping the team undercover with the umbrella.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
They do. You wear it well. Thank you very much, Maury. Wonderful to see Maury out here. Held many roles over the years at all levels, not in New Zealand, but internationally. And we have found the man we were talking about earlier. Brian Terry, you were very excited when you came into the end of stage 3, perhaps more so than a lot of others put together.
It's old age. I can't remember what it's like to be fast.
Well, maybe not, but that you're having fun after so many years. I think this probably has a little bit of payback.
It's definitely a bit of payback. It's been a long time since I've been able to get in a car, feel comfortable and just enjoy it. So, hey, it's awesome. That last stage was a ripper, especially the downhill. Whoa.
Now, that's a stage you will have done many times before, a very long time ago. What's different this year?
No snow. I remember snow there in about 90 or 91. It's a lot rougher on the uphill as well, but it's just a matter of just keeping it in the wheel tracks and straight. It's really good though. I enjoyed that.
Tell us about what's under the bonnet of this Toyota Starlet.
We've got a Gen 1 Kawasaki ZX14, which is a 1352cc, still NA. It's only tuned to 9,500 at the moment because we had a few driveline issues. Now we've got that sorted, it should go to 11,000 quite happy, but I don't know if it needs to be honest. It really hauls ass. So, and it's got the typical reverse box in the back there and the AE86 diff in it.
Okay, well, there are some Toyota componentry in there. You haven't completely eliminated its heritage.
No, the body shell's about it really, although lots of it's obviously carbon fibre, but all the front end's Mark II Escort Group 4. Quick rack and all of the power steering and everything, so makes life easy.
Excellent. All right, great to see you out here, Brian. Doing what you used to do in the Daybreaker way back in the day.
Thanks, Lance.
He's adjusting his overalls. There's something going on there. Lani, that pretty much wraps it up here in the service park. There's teams leaving left, right and centre. I was talking about the Greg Brown car before. He has arrived. But if you haven't got anything else to cover off, we may actually end up bringing this to a close.
Thanks, Lance. That sounds great. Just a quick recap, I suppose, of the top 10 overall before we head into Special Stage 6 Peeper Day. So first overall for the Daybreaker Rally after Special Stage 5 is Hayden Paddon. In second is Ben Hunt. Third, Zeal Jones, and in fourth, 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆. Now, that battle for third and fourth overall is going to be hotly contested this afternoon with only 1 second separating Zeal and Emma at the moment. In fifth is Brendan Reeves. Sixth is Andrew Graves and his 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝟐 Lancer Evo 3. Seventh overall, Hayden McKenzie. Eighth, Jeff Argyle. Ninth, Caleb McDonald. And rounding out the top 10 is Stuart Reid and his Mitsubishi Mirage AP4. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this morning. We will be back with another bulletin later this morning at 10 a.m. So feel free to join us again then and keep up to date with all the results in the meantime on chrissport.co.nz or by looking at the Daybreaker Rally Facebook page. You will get all the latest and greatest there until we come back in about an hour's time. Lance, any final words or thoughts from you from the service park today?
It's great weather. As I said before, if you're a duck, I'm actually very impressed at the way the service crews have managed to navigate their way out through the mud that is forming. Yeah, traction is an issue. Come on, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. He did it. The rain is starting to come down. Great time to wrap this up. Thank you very much, Lani. Thank you very much, Booker. Probably an opportune time to replay what happened at the end of stage 3 and hear some of the excited drivers as they came through. Started in the pitch black dark and ended with a reasonable amount of daylight. It made a big difference to those drivers running a bit further on down the field. But we'll leave you with that. Thank you very much for tuning in and look forward to the next bulletin.
Tune in again at the top of the next hour, and for more news, check our Facebook page, Rally Race Group, or website for past news bulletins.